But I'll wait by the door in case anybody else wants to. But we can go ahead and get started, you guys. So, Steven is someone that I know because I attend CrossFit Whittier. It's an amazing gym. And so I wanted Steven to come in and share some of the things that I've learned from him, some of the things that he's taught some of the other members of the gym who are also here, which is a huge testament to the degree of community that CrossFit Whittier has. So I'm really excited for you guys to hear from Steven, learn some stuff, and please feel free to ask questions. We're a very intimate group today, so please ask as many questions as you'd like. And we're also recording, so you'll also get a recording if you ever want to review any of this information. Thank you. Steven, thank you.
Have Karen demonstrate some exercises for you. Okay, some burpees. No, I'm just kidding. Well, thank you guys all for being here. And yeah, I just hope you guys are able to walk away with a little bit of motivation, some inspiration, and then some like practical things that we can do every day that I think will add up and make a big difference in our health and our fitness. So the title of my presentation is Unlock Your Potential, Transform Your Life with 5 Key Health Factors. So we have this framework at our gym, CrossFit Whittier, you know, just to make things simple and practical for our members, things that they can implement in their everyday life. You know, that can make a big difference. And we focus on 5 areas. Okay, I'm gonna get into what those 5 areas are. But when you make little tiny changes in these 5 key areas, they do add up, they accumulate into make like significant, you know, gains. And even sometimes when you least expect it, okay? All right, so first a little about me. I am a UCLA grad, I'm sorry. I was first in my family to go to college. Super excited to be there. Had a lot of really awesome opportunities. You know, going to college. One is I was able to go to the Peace Corps afterwards. And honestly, looking back at it, it was such a crazy decision to, you know, join the Peace Corps. I kind of just like, I don't know, I found myself in the Peace Corps office, filling out the application, and the next thing you know, I'm in Tumbes, Peru. But one of the most amazing experiences of my life, it was extraordinary. Just being able to learn a new language, and that's where I first fell in love with health. So my job there in Tumbes, Peru, super small community, like 100 families. I lived with one of the families there. We'd have to go and get our water every morning from the river. But yeah, that's where I learned that, like, you know, like health is very important. And you know, there's not so, like, they were able to be so happy with so little, but health was like a main factor, you know, of why they were able to thrive in that community. I started CrossFit in 2014, so coming up on 10 years now. And then I was lucky enough to go back to UCLA and do this fitness leadership program. It was a year long. It was programmed to develop their trainers. So I did stay on afterwards and work at UCLA for about 2 years. I super enjoyed it. All the trainers there were very competitive. They all wanted to be the best trainer. I learned a lot from them. But it was missing the community side, which I had already experienced at CrossFit. So I just loved working with people. And so that's why I decided, you know, that I also got like 4 hours back of my life, not having to make that commute from Whittier. So that was also a big plus. But so I decided to just go, you know, all in on CrossFit. And so today I am owner of CrossFit Whittier, which is insane because, you know, yeah, we don't have any business owners in our family. And the crazy thing about it is I didn't even have to like buy in. I showed up, the guy needed help, and we like quadrupled the business. Like our community grew like 4 times as much. He brought me on as a partner. And then last year he kind of just walked away from it and was ready to just move on. And he said he doesn't need to do it. But we had built, you know, a really close relationship. And so he gave me the gym, you know, me and my wife. So we're super, super grateful for that. Okay, so over the years, coaching CrossFit, one of, I think, the biggest concepts that's made the biggest impact is this idea of the aggregation of marginal gains. So this I read about, and then I started implementing it into our program at CrossFit Whittier. And it's about this coach of this cyclist team, the British cyclist team, who at the time that he took over, they were like close to dead last. You know, they were not a factor in the cycling world. He took over, and you know, over the next couple of years, they ended up being like a very dominant team and just put on like a dominant streak of winning championships after championships. So his idea was he was going to look at all of the factors that could play into someone becoming the best cyclist, right? What would make the best cyclist? What would make the best team? And so you looked at everything from like the seat that they were using on the bike, to the pillow that they were using for sleep, to the blankets they were using, to the temperature of their room that they were sleeping in. So looking at all of these little things that like by themselves maybe only make up like, you know, 1%, but all together, it made this powerhouse team. You know, they were able to get this aggregation of marginal gains. So we like to apply this in our health and our fitness. What are the little things in important areas that we can do, and over time, they add up to big success? I think a lot of times in you know, at the gym, in my experience, a lot of people are looking for like, you know, overnight changes, you know, home runs, you know, how can I lose, you know, 10 pounds fast? But this concept done right, like it not only like gets you results, but like extraordinary results. So the 5 factors that we talk about at the gym are sleep, nutrition, training, mindset, and connection. And I would put them in this order because I do think that sleep is the most important one. You know, you have a great night's sleep and it kind of sets you up for success the rest of the day. And then nutrition. Most of the time at the gym, I'm telling members, like, I would honestly rather you, instead of getting another workout in, go home and meal prep. Like sometimes I've had to tell members that. Sometimes it's not an extra workout that they need. It's, hey, you know, spend that hour, go to the grocery store, you know, get what you need, go home and meal prep, right? Or make yourself something. And then the training, right? You need the training, mindset's important, and then connection, okay? Okay, so this is kind of what I imagine when I say like, you know, become your best, or optimize your health and your fitness, or transform your life. It's like, it's you, like it's still you, but it's like a strong version of you. You feel like you have this like limitless energy, like you feel like you're focused, you have this mental clarity, you feel like unstoppable. So this is kind of the image that I imagine when I think of that. Okay, so the 5 health factors, right? We talked about it. Like they help with energy, they help with your mental clarity, your physical performance, and then also how your mood, right? So how you're feeling. You know, are you you have more patience, less patience, right? Are you being nice to your husband or mean to your husband? Nice. Okay. So, and let me know, because this is a small group. So at the gym, I did this presentation at the gym on Saturday, and you know, they had a lot of questions when we got to the nutrition topic. So, but if at any point you have questions, this is a small group, like feel free to stop me, okay? Okay, sleep. Sleep is sleep is a tricky one, because sometimes it's like a badge of honor to not get a lot of sleep, to like, you know, to kind of you know, go to bed late, wake up early, and sleep sometimes, I don't know, it gets a bad rap, but it's really, really good for you. So the importance of quality sleep, I think we're all pretty familiar with it, but I'll go over it, is improves your brain function. Like so many things happen to your brain when you're sleeping. You know, store memories, you solve problems, your body gets rid of toxins in the brain. So, you know, overall creates a healthier brain. It improves your mood, your mental health. Like when you sleep, you have a better balance of hormones, so that when you wake up, you have cortisol to kind of get you going, but then it, you know, it regulates, and so you're able to, you know, feel less stress. So it also helps with the hormones and your mood and your mental health. And then it supports your physical recovery. this is where, like, if you did do a workout, this is, or if you were injured, this is where your body repairs itself, right? So let's say I, take a spill, I get hurt. Sleep is, a lot of that recovery or that repair process will happen in sleep. So sleep it's crucial. So this is what good sleep looks like, right here. Man, looks good, huh? Yeah, no, look at, she's got like some eye mask. What is that, silk? That looks comfortable. Yeah. Oh, yes.
What's recommended hours of sleep?
Yes, great question. So what's recommended is 7 to 9 hours of sleep. I know, tough, very, very tough.
Squeeze that into sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe sleep faster and see if you can. Yeah.
Are you someone who's easily able to fall asleep, or do you have to do a regimen?
I do a regimen. So yes, at certain points in my life, sleep was harder than it is now, right? I kind of skipped over, like in the beginning, kind of like how I got into health and fitness. And I kind of want to go back to that for a second. So after UCLA, like I was maybe thinking about going to law school. Like that was like the natural thing for like an English major to do. We do a lot of writing, we do a lot of arguing, interpretation. But in the Peace Corps, that's where I fell in love with health, learning about health, talking about health. I started working out. But when I really decided that I was not going to do this traditional route and I was going to try and make a living coaching CrossFit, which at the time, 10 years ago, was like insane, is because it really helped me like during a tough time. Like I hit a moment where like I definitely had a slump, just like had really low self-esteem. I made a lot of decisions that like were setbacks, and I started to look at myself like a quitter. And I remember feeling like that. Like I remember feeling like when things got hard, I'm gonna quit. It would happen in wrestling practice, or it would happen in school, or I could feel it. But getting into health and fitness, I remember like the workouts where like I was able to kind of like break that that hold over me. I remember the workouts where I was like, hey, this hurts and this is tough, but I'm not gonna quit. And I remember making that decision, and I remember like how I felt like after I really figured out nutrition and how amazing I felt. I remember thinking like, man, I have to drink like 5 coffees a day just to get through the day. And like, I needed it. I didn't like how I felt drinking coffee, but I needed it to get through the day. And I remember like, okay, really figuring out nutrition and like, well, now I don't need any coffee. I mean, I still had a little bit of coffee because I love coffee, but I didn't need as much coffee. And like, that was a big eye opener for me. So then I was very passionate about like, wow, like this is life-changing stuff. Like I want to share this with people, So at certain times in my life, sleep was tough. But now I'm at the point where sleep is much easier. And I think it's about what we're doing that is setting ourselves up for better sleep. Some things are going to be harder for us to do, and some things are going to be easier for us to do. And especially in the beginning when we're starting, we're not going to really know what works for us. And then we'll start to figure out like, hey, this works for me, pretty frequently. Maybe not all the time, but pretty frequently, like this is what's going to help me get back on track. So some of the things that we can do is create a sleep schedule. Sometimes I create a sleep schedule, and even just the practice of sitting down and thinking about it and getting as close to that goal as possible has been helpful. Do I always stick to the sleep schedule? No. Sometimes it changes, and that's okay, because sometimes our life changes. The seasons of our life change. Our kids are getting older. Our schedule at work changes. So we have to also be flexible. But creating a sleep schedule can help us be more mindful about it, and then also get closer to that goal of, whether it's go to bed at 9, go to bed at 10, go to bed at 8, wake up at 4, wake up at 5, wake up at 6, whatever it is, like setting the goal, I think sets the attention in our mind, and this way we're a little bit more inclined to follow through with it. Some other things that we can do is create a restful sleeping environment. So this one's big for me. This one usually always works for me, and I love doing it. So I like making my room into like a sleep chamber. So at some point I didn't have a TV, but you gotta compromise with your wife, and if she wants a TV in the room, you gotta put a TV in the room. But ideally I wouldn't have a TV in the room. So no TV, like blackout curtains, like there's even a temperature that, you know, they say is best for good quality sleep. They say it's 67 degrees. For me, it works. For my wife, not so much. But, you know, so setting, even getting comfortable pillows, going to the store, getting some new pillows, getting you excited about sleep. Because you know when you walk into that room, it is all about sleep, and you're excited to sleep because you created this space for sleep. That same concept can be applied to like, hey, I'm gonna do some reading. This is my reading chair. This is where I do reading. This is where I work. This is where, you know, I'm not working. This is where I'm creative. So same thing with, you know, creating this, our own sleep environment. And then limit screen time before bed, right? So we want to, you know, try and do that like 2 hours before going to bed. And then another one that works for me is a sleep ritual. So it's something that like tells your brain and your body that you are getting ready for sleep. You know, the same way a high performer does the same thing before every game to let them know like, hey, it's Mamba mentality time. You know, like he had his ritual, like your own, like writing in a journal, having your bedtime tea, taking a bath, like that's you signaling your brain and body that, hey, what follows this exercise or this practice is sleep. So those are some tips that have worked for me that I think trying might be helpful. Questions about sleep?
What are your thoughts about blue blocking glasses? Like, do you think that they actually help people improve their sleep? Because I hear like the light from television screens.
Oh yeah,
overhead.
like an eye mask?
Not an eye mask,
Blue light.
like
The
blue
blue
light.
light glasses.
Oh, the blue light. You know, I haven't tried those, but I am a big fan of eye masks. Like if I really need sleep, like eye mask on, like she knows, like that's it, bam, it's gone. But I love eye masks, like a nice eye mask, that gets me excited about sleep. Yeah. Okay. Nutrition. So remember, I kind of put them in order. I think a good night's sleep kind of sets us up for, you know, making good decisions the rest of the day. So now we're talking about like what we give our bodies, right? What kind of fuel are we giving our bodies? So we know there's a lot of benefits to eating good nutrition, supports your overall health, fuels the body for your activities. It is the energy, right, that we need for us to go throughout our day. Not just like our body, but also our brain. And then also is the fuel for our workouts. And then it promotes a healthy immune system, okay? So this is from CrossFit. This is the pyramid of, so their version of the pyramid. You got fruits and vegetables at the bottom. That's what you want most of. And then you have your meats, your lean meats, right? So beef, fish, chicken. And then you have your fruits, your vegetables, your oils, your nuts and seeds. Questions about this right here?
I'm just hungry now.
Okay, so tips for eating for better nutrition. So one is, let's just go through this real quick and then we'll get some questions. Eat a variety of fruits and vegetables. So starting with that, right? Like if we had to, ideally, we could say that protein is the size of your fist or 2 fists, and then the rest of the plate is fruits and vegetables. Eat lean proteins. It's always a good idea to try and eat your number of grams per pound of body weight. So whatever you weigh, that in grams of protein.
Ideal,
Yes,
ideal weight.
ideal weight is fine,
Our
yeah,
ideal weight.
There you go.
yes, ideal weight. So that, we had a lot of questions about that, so we can stop now, or we can circle back to it. Does anyone have questions about this? They had a lot of questions about, should I eat that amount of protein even if I'm trying to lose weight? The answer is yes. The answer is yes.
Is it 'cause it's more satiated, like to your body?
It's more satiated, but it also, there's a lot of reasons. It also has a higher thermic effect rate, so like your body would burn more calories digesting protein than it would, like a carb. And the more lean muscle you have, it's healthy to have muscle. You want to have an adequate amount of muscle. The more lean muscle you have, the more calories your body burns naturally. Also, it has a greater metabolic demand. So you will maintain or maybe gain a little bit of muscle, but you'll be losing body fat, focusing on eating protein. It just burns more calories to digest. It also makes sure that your body is burning a lot of calories. Stay hydrated, and then eat 3 balanced meals. So this is very general. We're gonna go very general. There's a lot of diets out there. There's keto diet, there's fasting, there's paleo, there's the carnivore diet. There's so many diets out there. But I think that they would all agree that eating whole, real foods is good for you. Eating 3 balanced meals a day would be ideal. First thing in the morning, middle of the day, and then 2 hours before going to bed. So this is where I would say it's more important to think about the quality of our foods than the quantity of our foods, right? So when I say quality, it doesn't have to be organic. It doesn't have to be like grass-fed. If you can, that's great. But trying to eat real whole foods and less processed, fast foods. And then what I also say about this is that when you're eating quality foods, real whole foods, people tend to not eat enough of those. So those foods have like a natural ability to let you know when you're satiated, right? Like eventually your body's gonna be like, hey, you know what? I've had enough asparagus. Like I'm good on spinach. Like I'm good on mushrooms. Like I don't need to eat any more mushrooms. It's the other foods like fast foods and processed foods that are like designed to not have brakes on them. So those foods are tougher to stop eating. It's just designed that that hormonal effect that you get from eating a real whole food doesn't happen when you're eating Oreos. Oreos, like you can just keep eating Oreos, right? Until like you're physically full or like you run out of them or like, but if we just say, hey, you know what? I'm not gonna, worry about how much I'm eating as long as I'm eating real whole foods. It'll kind of usually work itself out in breaking it up into 3 meals a day. So, making a breakfast, eating your breakfast of real whole foods, and then when you're satiated, right? When your body tells you like, hey, I've got enough nutrients, then packaging that breakfast and saving it for when you get hungry again. And when you get hungry again, then open it up and then start eating that balanced meal again. So that would be the approach that I would recommend taking, is sticking with your real whole foods, trying to eat it in balanced meals, and eating until satiated. Questions about
Always have questions.
questions about nutrition? Anyone? Questions about nutrition?
I think the
Yes.
challenge comes from a lot of like our social or cultural input we've gotten our whole lives, because sometimes there's people who are shamed for having 3 whole meals a day, or there's people who don't physically have the time right now yet, they haven't scheduled that part yet. And so they may get 1 or 2 meals a day.
Yeah.
And then the only ones you know how to make are the ones you've been taught with all the oil, with all
Yeah.
the grease. Or tortillas, how am I gonna give that up? So like, like I think a lot of it comes from also like other steps that need to go before the nutrition that starts serving you, like,
Right.
you know?
Totally. Yeah, I mean, my family still gives me a hard time. Oh my God, they give me such a hard time about eating healthy. You know, so I do think that like in, you know, our culture, like you are gonna face some of that, you know? And so I think it's about connecting to a community where it does feel like accepted, normal, you know, because you're gonna have your family, that's one side of your community, and then connecting to another group of people that are like-minded and, you know, going after the same goals and kind of understanding where you're going from. Because it does get hard, especially when you just feel, I think, alienated, when you're by yourself against that. But then if you can plug into another community where it's like, hey, that's awesome, then I think that's so like that's another reason why I like CrossFit gyms. You know, because you're gonna get that at a CrossFit gym. Yeah, or getting a group of friends where like you guys can, you know, share some of those experiences, talk about it. You guys are all motivating each other, you know, to hey, this is awesome. Like you're doing great, you know, like oh, same thing happened to me, you know, like my brother always gives me a hard time. Yeah. He had one of my grass-fed burgers. He said he got an upset stomach and he wasn't feeling good for a whole week. And I'm like, you liar. But but the other thing that you touched on is like sometimes, you know, we have to learn like a different way of cooking and eating, and I'm still doing that. I'm still like, I still want to learn how to make more like raw vegetarian dishes, you know. But this is where I think starting small serves us, because we're not going to have all the answers in that first step. But I think just starting where you are with what you have, and you're going to learn along the way. Like I remember when I first did macros, I was like so hesitant to actually start because I was like, oh my God, I got to weigh my food. I got to calculate my macros, and then I got to like portion it out, and I got overwhelmed, to be honest. And I was like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, I'm an English major. I'm not an engineering major. Like, I'm not good at math. But then I just started. You know, I just kind of just like took the leap and started. And then I was like, hey, you know, like I'm learning as I go. And then it starts to get easier because you know how much a banana has in carbs. You know how to weigh everything. You kind of just start figuring out things along the way. So I would recommend, yeah, just starting.
Trust me, our engineering students aren't any better.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's right. Like
Yeah.
that's things I just tell myself, you know.
So are you kind of saying nutrition is also kind of mental than it is more of a physical, like just eating type of thing?
You know, it depends. It really depends, and I think it depends on the individual. And I think it depends on where the individual is in their life, because like sometimes food is very like emotional for me, and it gets tied into um like for me it gets tied into like ways that I cope, and then other times it's straightforward. So I think sometimes people come in and they're like really motivated to just overhaul everything. Hey, I'm ready to go. Like, just tell me what to do. Like, you know, I already went to the store. I got all my Tupperware. Like, I got all these new like pots and pans, and I'm like ready to rock. Like, tell me what to do. And if that's the energy that we have, then let's ride that wave. But more than often than not, that's not where we are. Where we are is typically, or where some people are, I should say, is that they want to start, but they don't know how to start, and it can feel overwhelming to start. And then sometimes there is like an emotional connection between food. Like for me, one thing that I had a hard time breaking was at the end of a day. This is when I was coaching at UCLA. It was such a long day. I had to be there at 5 a.m. I'd get up like at 3 a.m. and then I'd coach until like 10:30, and 10:30 at night. And so I get home and what I wanted was a bowl of cereal. And sometimes not just one bowl of cereal, sometimes two bowls of cereal. So for me, that became like my reward at the end of the day. And when I remember when I started like really looking at nutrition, I'm like, all right, how do I get out of this? Cause I'm like, I really want a bowl of cereal when I get home. So I just started looking at like healthy, I did, oh my gosh, I like love cereal. I still love cereal. But I found a healthier alternative for the bowl of cereal because I understood what I was trying to achieve with that bowl of cereal. At first, I didn't understand it. I kind of just thought, like, I don't know, this is what I'm craving. But then I realized that what I really wanted was a reward for finishing my day. So some other like motivating drivers are, reward, escape, boredom. And they still keep up with like sometimes if I have food and I'm bored, I'm just eating, so it's just kind of understanding like what is our motivation behind some of those behaviors. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, it reminds me of like I drink coffee every morning, and I have a sweet tooth, so I feel like I identify like, okay, this is because I stopped drinking soda too, but I'm like I'm still taking in hella sugar through the coffee. So like I found an alternative like monk fruit,
Yes.
and like so I started doing that, but then I relapsed, because
Relapse.
I ran out of like the monk fruit, and then I had some sweetener there, I'm like, and it felt so good. I'm like, yeah. So I feel like that. I mean, finding those alternatives, I feel like, because it's so easy to like give up on the like healthier alternatives sometimes, or also just knowing what can provide something close to what I enjoy and slightly healthier. That's where I'm at with it for sure.
For cereal, it's Magic Spoon.
With Magic Spoon, I gotta look it up.
Yeah, Magic Spoon's
High
very good.
protein, low carb, and it tastes great. Like
Yeah.
you get like chocolate flavor. There's one with like a fruity pebbles type flavors.
You still get that tear from the roof of your mouth. when you
Yeah.
finish.
About the milk, is the milk still good at the end?
Yeah, definitely. It's locks in the little, it keeps the flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just small boxes, so
Yeah.
compared to eat just one.
Yeah, they're only 7 ounces. You're right. So you go through it pretty quickly.
Yeah, just
Yeah, it's
maybe put some bananas in there, some fruit, some strawberries.
Yeah, like you're
Beef
saying.
it up a
find
little
an
bit.
alternative.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I think also reward yourself, because I mean, at some point it's torture.
Yeah.
And it's like, why torture yourself?
Yeah.
Just find, once a week or whatever, and then slowly you'll eventually just get away from it. But yeah, I think rewarding yourself every so often of whatever you're depriving. I mean,
That is such a good point. Like you can't like just deprive yourself. You can't feel like you're depriving yourself. You gotta feel like this is, a quality of life kind of thing, You're gonna go to the birthday parties where like they really want you to have cake. You're gonna, go to, the birthday parties where they want you to have a drink with them, and you have to feel like you can. And and then so it's finding that balance, but if for the majority of the time, like the way you're eating is to promote health and longevity and to help you be your best, the majority of the time, then that's what you're gonna have, and you can have like those, those moments. But like I think this shows like the importance of having a group that is like-minded in that way, because then you can share like, hey, this is what I found, this is what works for me, and rather than trying to figure it out all on your own. So creating a group with someone or a group of people.
We'll start tomorrow.
We're starting one tomorrow. That group.
They're increased.
There you go, voluntold.
I have a
Question, yes.
so I don't eat meat. Do you have any tricks for eating more protein? Because everyone gets mad at me because I don't eat protein.
Yeah, have you tried like a protein supplement? No? I'd look into like a plant-based like protein supplement. I think that's an easy way to get more protein. There are some out there that are pretty like clean. But yeah, I think there's a lot of other vegetables out there that have protein, like quinoa and stuff. Yeah, so it can be a little bit more challenging, but I think that's where the protein supplement comes in.
Like shakes.
Yeah, shakes. Yeah. Any other questions about nutrition? Yes.
You really only eat 3 times a day?
Me? Yes, most of the time I eat 3 times a day, but they're not the same size. Like my dinner is like huge. And I think I've learned to do that because I do train a lot throughout the day. I'm moving around a lot, so I have like do you want to know my breakfast? I have like a piece of bread, some avocado, and like 3 over easy eggs, and then I'll have some fruit. And then lunch is typically like rice and ground beef with some mushrooms in there. And then dinner changes a lot more than everything else. It could be with like potatoes or some greens and vegetables, but it's usually like a lot of protein is what I eat at night. I do try and eat a lot of protein, more than my body weight because I do want to, I compete. I do like CrossFit competitions and stuff. So I want to maintain and grow muscle. Yeah. But sometimes I don't. Sometimes maybe I skip breakfast, or sometimes, I go out with friends. A lot of the coaches are friends, so we'll go out, but for the most part, yeah. Okay, let's see. So training. Okay, this is training is good for you. Training strengthens your muscles and your bones. Okay, bones are important. They'll become more important later, but it helps strengthen like the density of your bones. Boosts your cardiovascular and respiratory system, your health, right? So your heart, your lungs, and then improves your mental well-being. Oh my gosh, like that's probably more of a reason why I work out now than anything else. This is my friend. This is my friend. You don't have to lift that much weight. I just think it's such a good picture. We recently did a competition together. That's Sam.
How much is this, Steven?
That is 455 pounds.
Yeah.
Is this the next?
Get in here.
Apenas.
I know, are we late? Are we late?
Guys, you're just in time for the training.
Perfect. Pretty good, how you doing?
I gotta hold it down.
This is our gym. This is where Karen works out.
Not with
she
this
might be in there.
one.
That's perfect.
Like 30 pounds.
That's crazy.
Okay, so training. So tips for an effective training. Consistency is yes.
For the people that just came in, we are recording it, so you'll get the recording for the first 2 modules that we just went over.
Oh, okay,
So,
okay, thank you.
That's what you guys walk into.
Yeah, right?
Okay, so consistency is key. So it's just trying to be consistent. So consistency, I think, means five days a week of training. 5 days a week, 2 days off is kind of like our template. It could also be like 3 days, and then 1 day off. 3 days on, 1 day off, or 5 days on and then 2 days off. Yeah, consistency can sometimes be hard. It can sometimes be really hard because it's hard to work out. Working out, it sometimes hurts, and you're out of breath and you're sweating, and sometimes the workouts are hard. But I think taking some of the expectation off of what the workout, how you should perform in the workout or how much weight you should lift in the workout, taking that expectation off and instead replacing it with like, I'm just gonna go move and do my best and listen to my body. And if I need to dial back, I'll dial back. If I need to reduce the weight, I'm gonna reduce the weight. If I need to reduce the run, I'm gonna reduce the run. Like whatever my body needs that day, I'm gonna listen to my body and just do what I can. But what more than likely happens is once your body gets warm and your body gets filled with those like feel good hormones, like endorphins or even like serotonin or adrenaline, then you're more than likely able to do more than what you expected. It's just starting that can be tough. But once you're warm, the weight that you were picking up, you know, before the warm up now feels light. You have adrenaline, you have focus. But I think just showing up and like, hey, I'm just gonna do what I can. I think that attitude serves us. Any questions about consistency? Yeah.
What about someone who hasn't taken the time to work out ever? Would you recommend a different regimen of maybe, or like maybe your fifth or your workouts are like walking or something else, so that's not high impact for, like, what would you say for someone who just starts? Cause that's the thing, it's like, I feel if I just started to work out and I was sore, I'm like, I'm not doing that again.
Yes.
I'm not going back into it. Like, what would be the workout that you would do if that person who's just started feels like?
Ideally, I would be doing it with someone else.
Okay.
So I go back to community a lot. I think doing it with a group of people or another person, it helps. It helps with accountability. It kind of shortens that learning curve, right? So I think doing it with someone else helps. And I think the important thing to know too is that like you're definitely going to be sore. But the best thing for soreness is to get your blood flow going again. And again, it doesn't have to be a high intensity workout. So let's say I go day one and I do squats and I do push-ups and I do, you know, some running. I'm gonna be sore for sure. Even if I take it easy, I'm gonna be sore. But I still wanna show up and do my 3 days on or 1 day off or 5 days on, 2 days off. Because once I get there on day 2 and I start moving around, then my blood flow is gonna get going. It's gonna kind of flush out some of that soreness. And again, some of those hormones are gonna help the body, you know, feel good again. And then you're starting the process now of building stamina. If I instead, so stamina is gonna allow you to be able to, you know, continue getting work done, right? It's gonna improve like your overall like, I wouldn't say it's different than endurance. Stamina is your ability to just keep going on, right? Endurance is different. Endurance is like muscular or like breathing, heart and lungs kind of endurance. Stamina is like, can you keep going? It's gonna improve your stamina. So like if I do my 3 days on, 1 day off, and I did that for like 2 weeks, my body is not gonna be as sore from these workouts. If instead I did 1 day on, take 2 days off because I'm sore, did another day, took 2 days off because I'm sore, I'm gonna always be sore. My body's never gonna build that stamina. It's never gonna get used to the kind of training stimulus I'm giving it. So anytime you do something new, your body's gonna be sore. Like if I went and did, I don't know, I don't know why my brain went to like circus training. What's that called? Like the acrobatic stuff. I'm probably gonna be sore. I've never done that before. There are stretches, you know, training methods are gonna be new to me. I'm probably gonna be sore. So anytime I do anything new, I'm gonna be sore, but continue showing up, take the expectation off of what the workout should look like and just do your best and, you know, and just get moving. Eventually, you're gonna get into a rhythm. You're gonna know, you know, kind of what that training is like. You're gonna know what it feels like. It's gonna you're gonna feel more comfortable with it. You're gonna feel more confident with it. You know, you're gonna know what weights you can use during the workout, how far you can run, and then, you know, and then from there there's growth, right? Because you're getting comfortable with that now. And so now you're ready to lift a little bit more, run a little bit further. I'd also recommend getting a coach. I think if you're new, either finding someone to do it with or finding a program online that can keep you accountable so you have a plan. You know, like there's a lot of free ones online. You know, hey, I'm gonna do this, you know, back and bicep or this leg workout or this, you know, glute workout. Having some sort of program, some sort of plan that you can follow. And then I'm gonna jump down to the last one is like find something you enjoy doing. It doesn't have to be weight training, it could be when you're starting out, it could be anything. It could be like, I'm gonna, I have a bike that I've always been wanting to ride. I'm gonna take that bike out, I'm gonna go for a ride, or I'm gonna go try yoga, I saw this cool like spin studio, I'm gonna go try this spin studio. So whatever it is that, is exciting for you, I think is a great way to start. But then, once you get the ball rolling, I would mix in cardio, strength training, and flexibility exercises. Like, we need that in order for us to be, at our best, in order for us to have optimal health and fitness. You need some strength, you need some healthy muscle. You also need cardio, you need to work on your heart and lungs. And then flexibility, you need to have, mobility to be able to, squat, reach overhead. So all of that will make sure that our quality of life is a little bit higher. Questions about training? No? Okay. Mindset. Yes.
Just a quick time check, we're
Okay,
at
shoot.
12:57.
Okay,
And then
I'll
we
wrap
just
up.
wanna make sure that you guys have time to get some food.
I'm gonna wrap it up.
Yeah.
Mindset. And then connection, that's it. So mindset, real quick. This one is important. You can almost start with this one. I know I said start with sleep, you can almost start with this one. It's just like taking time to think about what is our view on the world in front of us? What is our view on obstacles in front of us? And then adopting what's called a growth mindset. So someone with a growth mindset is going to look at obstacles as an opportunity to grow. Someone with a fixed mindset is going to look at obstacles as their limit. Okay, that's it. This is as far as I could get. I don't have the natural talent, or I tried and this is the obstacle and this is it. My abilities are fixed. I can't learn to do new things. I'm either good at it or I'm not. Where someone with a growth mindset is, I just need to practice. I just need to put in the effort. I have the ability to learn and grow. And sometimes we can have a growth mindset in one area of life and a fixed mindset in another area of life. So in thinking about this in terms of health and fitness, the obstacles that we face, are we approaching it with a growth mindset? Hey, I'm not a really good cook. How can I learn to cook for myself? I'm not good at it. Fixed mindset is I'm either good at it or I'm not, Growth mindset is, hey, this is an opportunity for me to learn how to cook. I'm gonna have to learn a lot, but I'm gonna get started and I'm gonna learn along the way. And that's gonna be new information, new knowledge that I'll have, So mindset, important. Questions about mindset? Okay, some ways that we can do this is practice gratitude, mindfulness. So taking time to sit and write down things that we're grateful for, taking time to sit and journal, just being mindful, kind of slowing down for a little bit, thinking about like the world in front of us, set achievable and reach goals. So achievable is like something for sure you could do. You set that goal, like I know for sure I can, drink 3 of these a day, and then having a reach goal. I'm gonna drink 3 of these a day and I'm gonna bring my lunch every day. So a goal, for sure you can achieve, and then setting a reach goal. Accomplishing this achievable goal is gonna help with motivation. It helps you get started sooner rather than later. And then that reach goal is exciting. You already know that you achieved one goal. Let's set a reach goal now. And then practice doing difficult things voluntarily. The workouts that you do will help you start doing other things that you maybe don't feel ready to do. I like to do ice baths in the morning. It's a good way for me to just kind of start the day like doing something I don't want to do, but I know it's good for me. But I built up to that. I've had a lot of workouts that I didn't wanna do. But again, practicing them, anything, can be applied here. Whatever, for me, it was working out, but it could be anything for you. Practicing doing those things, like brushing your teeth. You know, you don't wanna do it? I'm just kidding. You gotta do it. Practicing do difficult things, yeah, and then you can see that carry over. Connection, very important to have connection. You know, if you've watched that documentary on Netflix about the blue zones, like people that live have, you know, long, healthy, happy lives. There's a sense of community there. So some tips for that is spending quality time with friends and family, joining clubs, groups, or communities, and then volunteering to help others. Okay, integrating these things. Start small. Okay, incorporate them gradually. Little things. You know what's like one thing that we can start doing today in each one of those areas, or the areas that are important to us. What's one thing? Just one. And then try to make it something specific and measurable, because if I say like, hey, I wanna I don't know, I wanna lose weight or something. You wanna know exactly what you wanna lose and by when, because if not, you never know if you've achieved it or not, and then you can't measure it. You wanna be able to measure it so you can manage it. So making it specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and then time bound. Journaling, and mindfulness practices, and then tracking progress as needed. This is one of our real life stories. This is Naily. She was a coach for us. She started as a member. She 1 year lost like 130 pounds, and then went on to achieve her dream job, which is become a firefighter.
Oh.
Yes. So she, I knew she was gonna be successful, and I told her that because she is a good example of just doing the little things consistently, and then kind of all coming together, you know, at a certain point. And there was kind of just like a tipping point for her. She would come in my office and we talk about nutrition, we talk about sleep, we talk about other things. And then she'd come in 2 weeks later, she's like, I did really good, but then I messed up here. I'm like, don't worry about it. Like, look at the small wins you've had, you know, like, let's try this. And then 2 weeks later, she'd come in like, I did really good, but then I messed up here. I'm like, I am not worried about you being successful. Like, I know, just like, I can feel that you're not gonna give up and you're gonna keep trying things. And then at one point, she just like turned a corner. Like, it's kind of just all figured it out. But it didn't happen like, you know, in a straight line. It's kind of more like you have a setback and then you learn and you get better. And you have a setback, you learn, you get better. And so by you know, today, like, she's got everything dialed in. I remember like I asked her for some of her water, her Hydro Flask. She had like salt and like lemon in there. I'm like, dang, you even got your water dialed in. Like, this is crazy. You know, but it's just all little things that added up. And that's it. So what I would recommend doing after this is like writing down like 1 or 2 goals that you have, trying to make them specific, make them time bound. I would think about why those goals are important to you. That reason, that why is going to be very, very important. It's going to help you dig a little deeper when you need to. Maybe help you put those running shoes on, you know, when you don't feel like doing it. So the deeper you can go with that why, the better. And then let's write down like 1 or 2 things that you can do for each of those goals. Little things that, little action items that we can do for those goals. And that's it. Thank you.